chains and set us free. Riders on the prairie, wild and free. Bows and arrows, cold 45's decree. No more tyranny, no more lies. Under open skies we rise. Fight, fight, fight till we reclaim the night. Cowboys and Indians in the blazing light. Fight, fight, fight till the dawn is near. We'll never live in fear. On the blood moon, we all unite. Horses thunder in the night. No longer slaves to the empire's might. Strength in numbers, strength in rise. We'll rise. On the blood moon, we unite. Horses thunder in the night.
Welcome and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Cowboys and Indians podcast with myself, Steve Loves Ammo, and we have a special guest, special co-host tonight, Eddie Smith at the Patriots Pray. How are you doing today, Eddie?
Man, listen, life is good right now, brother. We are preparing for CPAC. A lot of things are falling into place. Sponsors are calling. I could not be happier right now, dude. And
Awesome.
we're on the precipice of something big. PPN is growing.
That's good, man. That's really good to hear. I'm glad I'm a part of this network. Been a part of the network a few months, and I've already seen exponential growth, and things are looking up a lot. So, anyways, tonight's episode, I called it USAIDS because we are finding. I don't know if you called that. I called it USAIDS because we are finding out a lot of information about USAID and the money that's been essentially laundered and just abused. There are so many reports that have come out today, whether it be LGBT propaganda in Albania and South America to Defiantly Free. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but Insurrection Barbie made the connection between USAID money and BLM. I made several posts about this today, and one of my recent ones I made with all of the discovery that's going on. How much you want to make a bet? There's a potential that USAID money went to the stolen election of 2020 and the cover-up subsequently.
I would bet. And not only that, I mean, I was looking over the information earlier at Hillary Clinton and her daughter, Chelsea.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and they have an organizational chart that shows all of these NGOs and how they pay each company like a pyramid, and the Clintons are at the top of this thing.
Yes.
I actually have it right here.
Oh, you do? Okay, I was about to message it to you. Perfect.
I have it right here. As a matter of fact, here, let me just drop us down. Or how can I do this? Here, I can just show it on my screen.
Yeah, there you go.
Change the background. I thought I was going to be slick and show it and right behind us, but I didn't think that through. I didn't think that through at all. Give me just a second and change our background.
Producer. We call you
right?
Jamie. We call you the
Right.
Jamie. Roll the clip, Jamie.
I'm the Jamie.
Yeah.
It works. Hey, I'm not offended at that. Jamie's cool.
Yeah, I know he is. But while you get that pulled up, oh, you got it.
Yep.
So you can zoom in on that.
It starts off. Yeah. I can zoom in a little bit more. Well,
Perfect.
I guess I can't. I can if I show it as a pic, because it's really important for people to understand exactly how this works. And this is a legitimate chart, and you can verify this very easily. Every one of us have access to Grok, or most of us have access to Grok, or even woke AI, which is Chat GPT.
Misinformation right now.
Right now, dude, I just asked it to show me the 20 craziest things that USAID was spending money on, and it took the time to defend the Democrats instead of answering my question.
And that was with ChatGPT, right?
That was with ChatGPT, and now that hasn't been happening. That's a new thing. It never did that before until now. It's nuts.
It's exactly like they know this stuff is becoming exposed now, so they're doing damage control on their side, and they're just going to call Grok right wing AI, which is incorrect. It's the most accurate, in my opinion.
So you got the mass receipts. It starts off at about $10 million,
Okay.
contributions at $2 million. Then it goes over the Neo Philanthropy Incorporated. And from there, you can see it goes into the Tide S Foundation. And then from there, they pay it out to the Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton. And you can see that they gross receipts are in excess of, I'm going to zoom in. Look, and all of a sudden it don't work.
Jamie.
It's crazy. What happened there? Let's put it back. I want to zoom in on it. What happened? It was working so well.
What did you do? What did you do?
All right, now here we go. So $83 million.
God.
$83 million of USAID money that ended up Hillary and Chelsea.
Man, and you know the things that we're finding out right now, it's literally just the surface. They haven't been really deep diving into all these like this right here. This, I mean,
$216 million right there.
In gross receipts to the Winter Fund.
The contributions are almost 200 million. Grants given, only the visible ones. Notice how they have visible.
Exactly. Yes.
So there's a lot of money that's secretly paid out of these funds. One handshake and the other actual quid pro quo. Not what they tried to blame Donald Trump for, but actual quid pro quo.
Honestly, like I'm seeing like the money from Biden, that was almost just like going to the candy shop. Now you're at an actual restaurant and you're seeing all of this money. It is so disgusting how much money we have spent on just other shit that doesn't even matter, and how much of that is getting kicked back to these politicians.
That's right. I guarantee you, I've always said I wanted to see Elon and Vivek go to the USAID given to Ukraine. I want to follow that money wherever it goes.
Yeah.
And I would bet dimes to dollar that you see it going out and a percentage of it coming back. Mm-hmm. I would bet anything in the world.
I wonder if that was through the FTX, that crypto with Sam Bankman.
Yeah, there was actually two sides of that crypto. So you remember when they put Scalise up for House Speaker and he dropped out?
Yes.
Well, the reason why he dropped out is because he took part of that crypto money.
Interesting.
And so there was like it was Sam Fried. What was his name?
Sam Fried Bankman. I think it's his
last name. I keep reversing the name, but he had a counterpart, and so Sam was the Democrat counterpart, and his buddy the Republican one, and there were a list of 22 Republicans that were doing the kickback thing too. So I'm just to say, guys, we're not. If I find out you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, I'm not just bag on the Democrats and on the left.
Well, yes.
And you're doing some shit, I'm going to call you out for it too.
Exactly, because we're after the uniparty deep state, and this is exactly who these people are. These people that are making $174,000 a year and living in multi-million-dollar mansions. Now everybody's figuring out where all that money is coming from, and this USAID or USAID, however you want to say it. That's where all of this money's been coming from. I really don't think it's majority of insider stock trading, except for Pelosi, because she just tells her husband what to bet on. But
and Pocahontas, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren, yeah. Well, she gets all that money from Big Pharma too. So
she said, "I don't take any money from Big Pharma or any PACs." And hold up, wait! It literally had a community note on X, like
I know, dude.
Here's the date. Here's the money.
Yeah, I was like busted.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, now you can't get called. Listen to this name. I hate to do this because I like some of these guys, but I'm just going to tell the truth. So these are the results of the people that on the conservative side that received money from FTX and its
Okay.
executives. This is going to hurt some people, I'm telling you, but
That's
it's
fine.
true. John Boozman, Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, Kevin Kramer, Steve Daines, Joni Ernst, Chuck Grassley. Oh, that one hurts. Cindy Hyde Smith, James Langford, Mitch McConnell, Jerry Moran, Lisa Murkowski, of course, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Mike
Ooh, that's a
Brown,
lot.
Marco Rubio, Richard Shelby, John Thune, Pat Toomey, Mark Wayne Mullen, Patrick McHenry, and Michelle Bond. So, I mean, you got some people on there that really surprised me. Grassley surprises me.
Yeah.
And so does Ted Cruz.
Yeah. So the swamp runs deep, brother. Like they're
so good at disguising themselves. It's not even
no,
funny.
they're not. And I don't know. It's just like it's so intense almost because it's not just FTX or USAID or insider trading. It's just so many different avenues that these guys are getting kickbacks from lobbyists, NGOs, all big pharma. I mean, my God, the founding fathers would be, you know what they would be doing right now because
Yeah.
it's insane that the 500 people that technically run this country are taking so much money from the taxpayer. It's theft.
I love that word, corporatocracy, right? We are ran by corporations. What
1913.
most people don't understand is like around 1920-ish or something like that. All the states incorporated like companies. And so the people that live in the states become dependents of the government of those states.
Right.
And it just goes bananas from there. And the people who run those corporations in those states are peoples whose names you don't even know. They're not elected.
Right.
It sounds like I should put on my tinfoil hat right now, but I'm not lying.
Just don't put it on too tight.
It's
say
the
the frogs are
truth.
gay or something, but that is true.
It's the truth.
But yes, I mean, dude, it started in 1913 with the introduction of the income tax, the introduction of the Federal Reserve, and then the United States Corporation of America.
And
all of
Social
these things.
Security. And
Yeah,
Social
all of
Security.
Yep. They're
Social
just
Security was a
trying to
big
make
one.
the United States a welfare state, and it's backfiring. Well, now it kind of is, but until we get some people that are actually prosecuted for this laundering or whatever penal code it is, it's just going to, honestly, in my opinion, I think it's just going to continue. But we are just 2 weeks into the 47th presidency with Trump, so there's a lot of
But
time.
egg prices are still up, Steve. What are we going to do? Trump failed. It's been 2 weeks and egg prices are still
Egg
up.
prices, gas prices. You're just admitting that everything had gone up the last 4 years because it didn't jump up in just 2 weeks. Come on.
Right.
You know?
Exactly right. Thank you for proving my point. Here's your sign.
Yeah, thank you. These guys are idiots.
It's like, okay, well, I love the Pam Bondi response. Hey, appreciate you asking that question. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
65% increase under the Biden regime. We're all quiet then. Why wasn't anyone speaking about the economy then?
Exactly.
What you just talked about is a big deal, though, because this is the Social Security Administration. Most people don't understand how that began. The country went broke. We went through a depression. The government reaches out to the big banks, the world banks, and says, help us. We don't got anything of worth.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, this is what we'll do. We want you to levy a tax on every man, woman, and child in your country, period. And we want to freeze gold prices where they are right now. No matter how much gold goes up, our gold prices what we'll buy from the United States will remain exactly as they are today.
Right.
So at that time, it was $42 an ounce. Now, can you imagine they are usurping all the wealth from the United States because its gold prices are up to $2,000, $3,000 an ounce. They're still buying it. The only thing actually worth anything, those banks are buying for $42 an ounce. Meanwhile, we are talking about Social Security like it's a savings plan. You don't draw down 100% of it until you're 75. The average
Right.
life expectancy is only 72. You can't leave it to your daughter, son, or whoever.
Correct.
So it's a tax, and you only draw down about 3% of the money you put into it.
Paid into over your lifetime.
But let's protect Social Security. Like, dude, get a bank account. Do it yourself.
Diversify your investments. Do something different, because you cannot rely on the government for anything. I don't. But I mean, that's been the mentality for so long now with Medicaid, whatever, the food stamps and all this. They're trying to keep these people down so they stay in the system and keep them compliant for so long.
Voluntary slavery.
Exactly. So you might not be in chains, but you're living in modern day slavery. And I mean, you have that, and then you have these things right here, these cell phones. I know we have to use them to do what we do. I mean, everything is on it now. You bank with it. You literally do everything with it. But it is kind of slavery, man.
It is. And it's, I tell you what, I don't know. I remember a time when we didn't have them, and now I don't know what I would do with it. I look at old TV shows, right? And I'm up at night, and I don't watch new TV shows. Like, I don't.
Okay.
I'm the Barney Miller, Sanford and Son. Like, I'm on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
even British television and whatnot. But I've seen like Dark Shadows, which is what I'm into right now. It's one of the first vampire shows ever on TV, like ever, in 1960s.
Oh wow, okay.
And they're talking to each other like, I heard, this character in the show is in this state. I'm like, how? You have no telephone. Who's running over to tell you? How do you get a hold of people? Even like if I were
a Western Union note.
Dude, if we didn't have cars and phones and things like that, for me just to go to work from where my job is, from where I live, that would take me a day on a horse, like a whole day.
Right. Yeah.
It's
oh my God.
It's wild. When you really sit and think about modern society, it's wild. But we've gotten lazy, and we've gotten very entitled
and complacent. It's just. Hey, I want to say hi to Ronnie. Thanks for joining in, buddy.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes X, depending on what you type, will mute you. I noticed that too. So if you like type like some kind of a curse word or word that AI and that moderates the chat doesn't like, it'll mute you.
Oh, like kind of auto hides the comment or whatever.
Yeah, it mutes you, and you can't comment. What's up, Ronnie? So
I commented earlier on one of my posts, and he said he didn't know if he'd be able to make it. So glad he's here. He's a regular. So
I've seen Ronnie in a lot of these. What's up, Jeffrey? Awesome. So we are only about 2 weeks away from going back to. I'm going back again. It's cold. I hope you're ready, dude. But.
Oh, in DC, yeah,
it's cold.
It'll be all right, man. I went during Christmas to New York, and it was 5 degrees with like 2 feet of snow on the ground, and I'm like, all right, this is cold. And then I came back to Texas, and it snowed here, and I'm like, crap, it's cold. It's a different cold, man. I don't know. I don't think it's as cold up north, in my opinion.
Really?
That's what I think. You know how so you're in like a heated environment, and say it's 96, 97 degrees, but there's humidity outside. It's like, dude, you can't, you walk to your car and you're sweating, right? But you go to Arizona or Vegas, and you walk outside, it's 95 degrees, and I'm like, man, this is nothing. I don't know. I think humidity has a huge factor.
It is. But here's the bad thing about Las Vegas, Nevada. Mm-hmm. They always tell you, it's a dry heat. Mm-hmm. I would love to have some humidity. And the reason why is because there's a cool breeze. When the wind blows, it cools the air.
Yeah.
When the wind blows in a dry heat, it's like just being in an air fryer.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, I guess that's a solid point.
I'm fair skinned, dude. Like, I may be half native, but I just got the Irish part.
Yeah.
That's,
you got the white privilege part.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, my credit's all right. But I don't I'd stay away from that sun, man. I jump from the car to the house, from the car to
Yeah.
work, and that sort of thing. I'm not out in that sun. I hate it. I would like the weather up where Maurice is at. I like that overcast, rainy stuff. I just
Ooh,
couldn't
no,
be
no.
the
Oh man,
leftist.
I went to Fort Lewis for 2 weeks, and okay. So long story short, I um I went out to Seattle. I was doing training cadets. Yeah, I'm gonna get to Ronnie here in a second.
You saw that
So,
comment?
yeah, so that's why I pinned it up there. But so I made the mistake of going to Seattle at Fort Lewis, Washington, at training cadets. Nice. I didn't bring my wet weather gear. All right. So it was nice, bright, and sun shining in the morning. And I'm like, all right, great day at the range. I was training the 18 and 19-year-old cadets on the 240 Bravo. And so that was really awesome in itself because these kids have never shot a gun in their life, and their first gun was actually a 240 Bravo, so 7.62 automatic machine gun. They're like, "Rah," just like living their best life, right? But anyways, so around 1 p.m., I'm looking in the distance and I see one cloud. And I tell you this, dude, 30 minutes later, I was getting rained on and it was 40 degrees. And I didn't have any wet weather or cold weather gear. So I learned my
It
lesson.
happens that fast. It
I
happens
learned
fast,
my lesson
especially in
there.
the flatlands. The flatter it is, like it just comes real quick. Utah's the same way. Like people
Okay.
in Utah are like, we don't even listen to the weatherman because he doesn't know. Like you'll think clear skies, and next thing you know, it's raining,
Yeah.
and it's a lot. I don't miss the weather back east, but I do miss the fall and
Oh,
and
it has a
some
different
of the
kind of like
season. Exactly.
atmosphere.
They don't. The thing I like about Vegas is nothing closes. If I feel like going to the
That's true.
store at 3 in the morning, I can. There's
Mm,
no last call. The refrigerators for the doors where you go get a beer, wine,
yeah,
bourbon if you're me.
just
You
whenever.
can get it every day of the week, all the time. There's no rules. It's like adult land.
Yeah.
It
Um,
really is.
all right, Ronnie. So Pantene Pro V is not here today, also known as Maurice. He allegedly has a migraine, and he said, "I was like, hey man," he was like, "Oh man, you think you can get Eddie to jump on the podcast? I've had a migraine." Like, dude, just take like 6 Tylenol and just jump on. And he's like, "I did that." I wanted to call him something that I won't say on this podcast, but you know what I
So
mean.
this is funny that he brings this up, Pantene, because I don't know if Maurice talked to you about this or not, but I said, Maurice, everybody always asks you about your hair. When we were in Detroit, him and Scott, famously ran into each other and had
Yeah,
a
yeah.
hair battle, and they did all that. I'm like, man, you know what we need to do? We need to launch a Native Patriot shampoo. And
Okay.
he's like, oh, we can do that.
Mhm.
So we actually did it.
No way.
No, I promise you, it's called Warrior Wash. I
Really?
actually talked to the supplier today. Only about an hour or two ago was I talking to the supplier, and I branded it already. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show that it's not available yet for purchase, but we will actually have it available for purchase, like real quick. We're just making some things, going over some things with the supplier. We wanted to make sure that everything was made in America.
Uh,
Everything was right, not healthy, good, organic, whatever, right?
what's it
So
smell like? Does it smell like just
it,
masculinity
see
and
this,
like horses running in a pasture?
but in all seriousness, so these are all things we got to talk about, like what all those types of things. What do we want it to be like? If we want tea tree, we got to go through all that, but it's
Okay.
it's in the process. So here's what we came up with right here, and I promise you,
Wow.
Warrior Wash.
Hmm. I
That's
don't know.
that's kind of, but we're gonna replace the face on the bottle with Maurice's face.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
you got that's the rough right there. So I got to go in and edit it and actually do it in Adobe instead of using a generator. And actually get the real graphic, but that's essentially
Oh my
it.
God. Oh, dude, I'm gonna record a video like just me from like my chest up and just like promoting. I can like
Who
PI
doesn't like
edit it where
the
like
axe
I wash
commercials?
my hair just like magically grows, and then I can put like put a headdress on.
Yes, conditioner too, Sherry. Conditioner, deodorant, bars of soap, the whole works. We're gonna have a whole Native Patriot line of hygiene products. It's gonna be neat, man. It's gonna be neat. And not to mention, that's just not it. So the guys who kind of stepped in to help PPN Save the Day sponsored us for CPAC and has been working with every host they just came on as a sponsor. And I really want to drive this home. Every single person watching right now goes and buys groceries, goes and buys detergent, goes and buys, whatever it is, dish soap, whatever it is, but you're getting it from Walmart. So you're giving your money to China. You're going to the big box stores, you're going to Costco, you're going to Amazon, you're getting it from somewhere like that. And here's the thing. We found a company that aligns so perfectly with our values because they make it here out of ingredients sourced in the United States.
Dude, that's awesome. So anyone that talks about, like I was talking about how we should, we do tariffs, and that way it encourages American companies to start making their own products in the United States. And everybody comments, oh, well, we outsource, from like China or India or Mexico for all these other products. I'm like, okay, yes, some companies do, but we have American products here, or American companies here in the United States that specifically target and make everything here in the United States. And those are the people we need to support.
Funny thing is the American made in USA marketplace only saturates 0.6% of our spending. The rest of that money is going to China and other countries.
Yep.
Because they're selling it all through these big box stores. You don't have to do that anymore. I promise. Listen, I've seen the products. I have the store. I went in. I already bought stuff on the store. And you can get all the same exact things that you buy. Just buy it from here. That's the only difference. Just get it from here instead of there. And as a result, you will be supporting American businesses. You'll that the products that are sourced here are healthy because all of the things that like is in the RFK Jr. agenda with sourcing, no red dyes, no all that kind of stuff.
Correct. Yes.
They're already on that. So if you buy
they're ahead of the game right now.
Already done. And the tariff situation, I had that talk with one of their main guys yesterday, and he says, why? We're stocked up. We have the ingredients here in one of the largest warehouses facilities in the entire United States that gets all the products to everybody in a day or two. So if you order today, they'll have whatever you order to your house tomorrow or the next day.
That's awesome.
So this is bar none the best sponsor that we have ever came across for the things that align with what we're talking about. So all you people out there say, hey, I'm America first. Are you?
Yeah, right.
Are you? I mean, this is a perfect.
I think this would be a good segue to run the commercial so everybody can see it, and then we can talk about USAIDS.
Yes, USAIDS. Here it is, though. Shop with USA. Check these guys out.
Welcome to Shop with America, where the emphasis is on America. Our movement is to switch away from your shopping with the big box stores and the mega corporations back to supporting family-owned, made in America. We've been giving these big box stores our money every day for years. But what's happened is they've forced many small businesses to shut down. We call this the illusion of choice. We see all these products in these stores, but in reality, it's only a few companies that control it all. There are thousands of lawsuits for health damage because they put profit over our people. But there is another choice. We found a better way. There's a family-owned American factory with product integrity and have always done things the right way for the right reasons. And this company outperforms the big box stores. That's due to their month-to-month shopping club. They make everyday consumer products that we all use and buy again and again, like toothpaste, shampoo, coffee, and organic beef. Go to shopwithamerica.us today.
See, that's what it's all about right there, guys. So it's not like I'm saying, hey, buy this specific thing or buy. I'm not telling you to buy all the same stuff you would buy when you would buy it. Just buy it from Americans made in America. That's simple. So go check them out, guys. Go check them out. It is well worth it. And you help us out and you help them out and you help out fellow Americans and everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Win-win-win.
Let's talk about USAIDs.
Dude, you're gonna call it that from now on, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes,
Okay,
I am.
so I think didn't you pull up? I think it was a list, kind of like a short list of
I got a
uh,
list. Yeah.
some of the money that's been going out and who and like what country and what program it was designed for.
So it starts with the number one is the transgender. They got $30 million for transgender initiatives at the WITS Health Consortium in South Africa. I didn't know they had a problem with transgender in South Africa.
Well, they have a problem with white farmers getting killed in South Africa. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. It's almost
a whole
level.
that is a whole rabbit hole. I personally know some South Africans that came here that white folks that matter of fact, the guy who remember when Trump got the mugshot and the mugshot went viral. Well, he was the guy I'm talking about. He was the first one out of everybody. He ran straight to the tattoo shop and got the mugshot tattooed on him. And he was on the New York Post and he came on here and he just happened to be a friend of a friend. So I was able to make the connection. But yeah, he was telling me some crazy stories about actual racism, not what these people here call racism, but like actual racism in South Africa. That's wild.
Americans have zero idea what racism is.
Yeah, no, this isn't racism. They call microaggressions racism. You know, if you confuse this guy with that guy and they both happen to be black, then what are you saying? That we all look? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this USAID package is going to WIT Health Consortium in South Africa, and it focuses on the transmission of HIV among sex workers. So we're enabling sex workers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Transgender sex workers, to be specific. The initiative was part of a broader effort to address the health disparities in key populations. So I guess on average, the transgender health workers were having more USAIDs than the than the non-transgender ones. So they're like, no, we need equity in AIDS. Equity and AIDS for everybody. If you get it, he has to get it too. So,
oh my God,
this is what they're spending money on, guys. This is their thought process.
$30 million when we have Americans that are still suffering in North Carolina and California and all these natural disasters that are hitting, and we're giving it to fucking trannies in South Africa. Insane.
You know what's nuts though is you got the president of Liberia and many other African presidents that they outlawed being gay in their country. I don't know if people actually know the politics of these places, but it's actually against the law to be gay in Liberia. And the Liberian president, which is a woman, and she was asked about this and she said, well, don't you think that you should be a little more progressive? It's 2000 and whatever it was when the interview was. And she says, no, she says, listen, we like our traditions. We like our people the way they are. And I'm not allowing anyone come in here and destroy our culture. And that's the end of it.
I love it.
And that's the end of it. It was a great interview. And I don't think that what she said was based in hate. I don't. No. I just think that she was exactly the way she said what she said and why she said it was exactly the right thing, because there's a thin line between freedom and anarchy. Like when moral relativism takes hold, then everything becomes permissible. Everything. Yeah. Well, I'm free to do this and I'm free to do that and I'm free to. Next thing you know, everybody's so free and you look out the door and it's absolute chaos.
So, okay, so yes, but there is that fine line where it can go too far one way, but then also too restrictive. So it's
Exactly.
that
That's
fine
fascism.
balance in between. Yes.
That's actual fascism, and that's why they try to call the right fascists. It's not because we're actually fascists. It's because we have a boundary. We have standards.
Yeah.
The left has no standards. I mean, literally no
They,
standards.
do you know how close they wanted to put the map, the minor attracted person, on the flag and make that the standard? That it was so close. That's why
Is
they
there a
they
vote or something?
honestly, I'm not sure. I think there are some flags with, I forgot what the symbol was, but it's called a minor attracted person, a
Right.
pedophile. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's what they're trying to do with all this grooming, with school children in the United States and all. They are trying to make that they're trying to make that mainstream, but luckily Kamala didn't win. I'm just gonna say, I don't know if you watched the full unedited 60 Minutes interview. I
Mm-mm.
haven't, but I've
Oh,
heard
the
it.
one where they edited it to where it didn't sound like she was being a complete nimwit, and then the real whole version came out, and you could see
It
it.
just
Yeah,
did today. Yeah, they
yeah.
just released it, and people, some have watched it. I have not. And they are just saying we dodged a bullet. Honestly,
It's pretty sad though. I mean, listen, for all the people that are out there that are so-called social justice warriors, you were voting for a lady who 1 generation ago, her family owned thousands of slaves. Come on, people. Listen,
yeah.
when we had Michaela Montgomery go on Laura Ingraham, and I'm calling out Fox for this. Like, I don't care.
Oh, that's fine. Good.
That faux news is what our buddy Ivan Raiklin calls them. Faux news. For a
Yeah.
reason. They walk up to the line of conservatism, give you the impression, but they just stop, right? They posture, but they
Yeah.
stop. And I'll give you an example. When Michaela went on Laura Ingram's show, and Michaela is very outspoken, very outspoken.
Yeah, she
And
is. I know.
started talking about Kamala's family being involved in the slave trade. And they were like, no. Like, they changed the subject so fast. So fast. Like, we don't
Well,
want to go there. It's terrible.
yeah. Well, I mean, what do you expect from Fox News? They had the vaccine mandate for all of their employees, so they, like you were saying, that they had that ruse or that shield that we are conservatives or whatever. But at the end of the day, they're controlled by the Murdochs and the deep state, and they're just controlled opposition. That's all they are.
Remember when Trump called Rupert Murdoch in the middle of the night during the end of the last election, because they called the election like hours before it was over,
Oh,
and all the votes weren't in, and Donald Trump called Rupert Murdoch. Like, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall of that conversation. But it's not the first time that they've done that. They did it for Bush back in the day when the Al Gore situation in Florida, remember, with all the
recount or whatever. Yeah.
missing ballots that showed up. Listen, there were literally missing ballots, boxes of them that showed up in the Florida situation with Al Gore. I'm no Al Gore fan, but I still just tell the truth. It is the truth.
Absolutely.
And when John Kerry and George Bush were running against each other, this was kind of my introduction. It was 2001. It was post 9/11, and I'm starting to get into all these things. And Alex Jones was burgeoning, and I'm watching all of his different movies, and I'm like, holy shit, is this real? And yes, it was real. Like, George Bush and John Kerry both went on Meet the Press with Tim Russert. Rest in peace, Tim Russert. He was a good guy. And Tim Russert asked them right to their faces, so you were in Skull and Bones? And he said it to John Kerry first. And he said, yeah. And then he changed the subject. And he says, well, he says, you were, and then he tells George Bush, you were in Skull and Bones, the secret society. And George Bush immediately answered, well, it's no secret that I'm going to win this election. And he says, but number 322, are there secrets? He says, I'm sure there are a lot of secrets, but there's no secret that I'm going to win. He just would not go there. And Tim Russert brought it up, and Tim Russert died not like too long after the election was over. But he busted them on live TV for both being the members. And then it came out that John Kerry and George Bush were actually cousins. Google it, fact check me. I guarantee that I'm right. They were in the same college fraternity. They're cousins, and it wouldn't have mattered which way you voted, Bush or Kerry, you would have ended up with the same policies.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that one up
Yep.
because that one's kind of blowing my mind right now.
Yep.
But yeah,
Same
dude.
policies.
I mean, I guess my first real run in, I guess, with hating Fox News was when Arizona was called with less than 1% in 2020. Like, way to
I
disenfranchise every
remember.
voter over there. But anyways, when I was deployed to Iraq, it was when Obama was up for re-election.
Yeah.
Well, come to find out, my entire unit, we voted, and conservatives typically vote. I mean, I'm sorry, military members are highly conservative, as ratio wise.
Mm.
Well, come to find out, all of our ballots went missing. They didn't even make it out of the country.
I heard about this. I remember
So
this.
yeah, the
And then some people couldn't even get their absentee ballots.
yeah, it was
A lot of
it
people that
was
couldn't even
crazy.
get them.
I mean, dude, election fraud has been around for a very long time, and if you don't think there's election fraud, then I don't know. Then just go live your pipe dream because it actually happens.
But the thing is, it's so simple to fix. And you see, notice that every time we try to fix, get some election integrity,
Mhm.
they call it racism. They call it jerry rigging. They call it all kinds of things. Why in the
Right.
world? Why in the world is the same Democrat Party that says if you have to have an ID to vote, that's racist because black people don't know where the DMV is? Are you kidding me? I mean,
That's racist as hell
that
to
is
assume
so
that they can't.
racist. I remember Erica Marshall after they said college admissions are now going to be completely merit based. It is illegal to admit someone into college strictly based on, quotas of race or gender or nationality or whatever the
Right.
case may be. Erica Marshall in the Biden administration tweeted out, this is back when it was still called Twitter,
Right.
tweeted out, it's not fair. And I'm quoting you. I can literally pull the tweet up probably, but she says, black people cannot compete in a merit-based system. That's what liberals think of black people.
Man, that is true racism. Because I
I'm
know
pulling it up.
yeah, you need to because that I mean, honestly, it doesn't surprise me because there's just been a long-standing sense of racism, even back to slavery, and it took the abolitionist party to end it. And then you see what happened to Lincoln because of it. But you notice each president that has been assassinated or been shot at, they are going against some sort of deep state in some fashion. So,
Here it is. So
yeah,
everybody realized, like, I make a lot of like crazy claims, guys, but I do my homework. And when I tell you something, it's because I know it for a fact. Right there.
oh, okay, okay. Now I know the account you're talking about, dude. That's a fake account, right?
Well, I heard afterwards that
So that account, there is actually a woman. I think her name is Erica Marsh, and it is that face, but it was an account that was not her. So I don't know if it was a Fed or somebody, but it wasn't the actual Erica Marsh that was posting this stuff.
it's funny because it's a verified account.
What? Yeah, I mean, they probably still had the same settings from Twitter.
But I remembered this, like, and they immediately banned the account,
Uh-huh.
which was kind of weird for the day and time that it was in because it was still ran by Dorsey.
Mm.
Remember all those hearings?
Yeah.
There's no shadow banning. There's like that stuff doesn't exist. Like it was all like there was just some kind of a right-wing conspiracy. Turned out it was all true.
Yeah,
Let's see what else is in this. So let's see what else is in this package. Support for Serbian LGBTQ plus groups. Agenda provided the agency provided $1.5 million to Grupa Isaji group come out. So basically groomers, like people urging other people to become gay and come out.
Wow.
In Serbia, to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in the LGBTQ1 community, workplaces, and businesses. So you know what they do. They go in and they offer grant money and big money from USAID to businesses, and they say, but you have to have these policies in place.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm just saying it's sort of like globalist agenda ish. So you will, I just want to know, like, okay, so we have this USAID money. Who is telling them to make those shots? Is
Right.
that an internal thing in the United States, or is it coming from the World Economic Forum, or
Mhm.
where is it? Where that's the piece of the puzzle that I'm kind of missing right now.
Right. Well, those unelected bureaucrats will get unmasked because that's
Yeah.
exactly what Elon Musk said was going to happen. They said there's a lot of people that are pulling the strings behind the scenes who we never see.
Right.
And keep in mind, there are 3,000 people when Trump gets elected or any president gets elected that they choose as cabinet members. But there
Yeah.
are 3 million plus federal employees. So nearly 1% of the population works for the federal government.
Insane.
All those
Insane.
other unelected bureaucracies do what they want with impunity, and they don't answer to
Yep.
the president. That's why Doge was created,
Mhm.
because they're using this as their own money laundering slush fund. And I think even
Yeah.
Elon said that earlier. But the next one's going to blow everyone's mind.
Dude,
This is official. Remember, every Fauci hearing, every back and forth with Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, all these people, all that, we did not fund gain of function research. Well, here's
lie.
the official answer to that. USAID funded $38 million worth of grants that ended up at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where
Yep.
research linked to the origins of the COVID-19 virus was conducted. The source was cf.org. So I might even give you the source. Beyond that, Andrew, oh, I'm gonna forget his last name, but the guy who originally was the original whistleblower for the coronavirus money because Fauci was his boss.
Oh,
Andrew, I've talked to the guy. We had phone conversations.
yeah.
Like he was telling me, like he was afraid to come out. Like he said he was being followed. His computer was being
I'm
hacked.
sure.
He was dead scared. Like he wouldn't even tell me what state he was in. None of that. But we were talking on the phone, and I was trying to get him to come on the podcast. And but he wouldn't
Yeah.
do it. He did a phone interview, but he was too afraid to come. I'm gonna look his name up. It was Dr. Andrew was he was the whistleblower.
Every time you say Andrew, Andrew Torba always comes to mind. I know it's not him, but it's just what pops in my head. But yeah, dude. So it's essentially we have like a fourth branch of government, and that's exactly what they're uncovering right now. And honestly, I don't expect anything less except retribution. These
Andrew Huff.
people these people
Andrew
need
Huff. Yeah.
these people
Sorry.
need to be exposed, dude. Like we need to know names. We don't need to know just exactly where the money is coming from. And two, we need to know the entire scheme, who the players are, who the big players are, who are the middlemen, all of this stuff, all these bank records. So all this stuff that we learned about Joe Biden and Ukraine, I'm serious. This is going to be far worse. And what you're kind of saying about the next release from Elon Musk is going to blow your mind, man. Man,
Yeah, I even you should. I'll send these texts to you. They're from Andrew Huff.
okay.
They're wild.
Mm,
They're wild. And we get contacted every now and again through our website. I don't know how when we actually promote our website, but we do have one, thepatriotsprayer.com. And if you go there and you're not watching the podcast on the video podcast, there's a listen tab at the top. And after we're done these podcasts, we upload the audio. So it doesn't matter if you're like, I got iHeartRadio or Amazon Music or iTunes or whatever. Our podcasts are all on there. So catch them while you're driving to work or whatever else. You can listen to them anytime.
okay.
But you want to
Ronnie
continue?
does bring up a good point. Rubio is Secretary of State now. So he doesn't think it's going to happen, like it's going to crash. So Oh man, this is actually a very good point. But as much as I think I know Trump, I think he keeps his friends close and his enemies closer. And
There's no way. I question that one. I
what
question that one big time.
the
The
Rubio pick?
appointment. The appointment. I questioned it tremendously, but I
And
come to the same conclusion as you. Really
and
did.
honestly, I'm also going to go out on a limb. I might catch a little hate for this one, but I think it's the same thing with Netanyahu. Honestly, I think Trump doesn't like BB.
No.
Okay.
Okay, let's stop. All right.
Dude, I know that's gonna open a can of worms, bro, but
Tell me what you're thinking here, because
okay.
I'm
All right.
curious.
So, okay, one, I don't think we should be messing in the Middle East anymore. I'm sick and tired of America being the world police. I know there are a lot of people that say Israel's the Holy Land and all this other stuff, but in my opinion, I am almost at the point where I'm an American isolationist because of all this stuff that's been going on with all this tax money that's been sent over. Ronnie says, "Better not, Steve." And this has nothing to do with religion. Okay, this is state issues, in my opinion. Um, we have got to get away from the Middle East, man. I'm telling you, if we send all these Palestinians to some country that doesn't freaking want them, we are
They've
going
been
to
kicked
create
out
an
of every country.
entire generation of Islamic extremism. I've been there, dude. These people have been displaced, and I'm not pro Muslim or pro Jew. Not this has nothing to do with this, but I've just seen it. These people that get displaced over there, they are going to create propaganda videos out of it, and it's going to be very intense, dude. Because when I was in Afghanistan, when I spoke with these people that were Taliban fighters, they were only Taliban fighters because the United States was involved. When we went over there and McChrystal ordered all the poppy fields to be burned, they had no revenue. So what are they supposed to do? There was a vacuum. There was a money vacuum where
Mhm.
these leaders of the actual Taliban, they came in and they said, hey, Ahmed or Mohammed, whoever, here's $100 American to go set a roadside bomb, and you don't even have to be there. You can put a pressure plate, or we'll give you $500. We'll give you a camera, and you can record it. Dude,
Mm.
that amount of money for an Afghan is outrageous. They would do this to feed their families. And if there was someone that invaded my country and they took away my source of income for my family, I would do the same thing. I'm
Here's
just
the
being
thing,
straight up.
though.
Hungry
Here's the
people do
thing.
things.
So here's the thing about the Taliban that most people don't know, and believe me, I'm not an advocate of the Taliban at all,
Mhm.
zero. But
CIA.
the Taliban was against drugs. They're a religious order. They actually outlawed the growing of poppy before the United States went in there and overthrew the government and installed Hamad Karzai, who literally worked for Dick Cheney. He was a Unical employee, and Unical is a division of Halliburton. So when the
Correct.
U.S. installed Hamad Karzai in
Mhm.
Afghanistan, they were putting a puppet in place. There were
Well,
16,000 troops on the ground prior to 9/11 even occurring. So they were
mhm.
staging because they were trying to protect the construction of a pipeline they were putting through Afghanistan.
Who
And
was?
Bush and Cheney.
Okay. So American pipeline instead of the
Right.
Russian one back in the 80s. Okay.
Correct. They were trying to build a pipeline through there, and I guess they were having trouble with the Taliban. And so, and the Taliban also, keep in mind, would not allow them to grow poppy. And 70% of the opium that comes into this country comes from Afghanistan.
Mhm.
If we don't have heroin, anyone that knows the story of Bumpy Johnson and ever watched The American Gangster, like that's a true story. We were bringing since the Vietnam, we have been bringing our CIA and all that have been bringing drugs into this country. They
Mhm.
set them loose on the population, and then they go and they make money on the back end of it. But it's almost, I saying this but it's true. If there was no crime tomorrow in this country, no crime,
Okay.
we'd go broke.
I mean, would shut a lot of federal prisons down because I mean they're not run by any kind of government. They're
I'm not
private.
talking about people. I'm talking about the government. People probably would be fine, but we damn sure wouldn't need
Oh,
the
you mean
police.
people paying like speeding tickets and like bail
Right,
money and all that other stuff?
right.
Okay.
Drug bust, home seizures, police auctions, all like the
Mhm.
intensified amount of police that are needed to be like police are now up to 8% of their population. So whatever your population is in your local city, police make up 8% of that. That's the number that they try to get
Okay.
to or keep. I mean, that's a lot of authority in one place.
But
And
wouldn't there be some sort of like redistribution? You know, like I don't know.
yeah, but it would be them. It's like the powerful protecting their jobs. As long as there's crime, it's just like the Democrat Party, right? If they
Yeah,
don't sow chaos, then they don't keep their power.
yeah. I guess I could agree with that.
So, I
But
mean, there
still,
was a lot of people that were wrongly accused of
yeah,
selling drugs and bringing them into the United States. For one, the Ronald Reagan deal with Oliver North with the Iran Contra affair, and supposedly they act like Ronald Reagan invented crack. Well, I got news for you, dude. Even if cocaine was shipped in under the Reagan administration and they rolled up in your neighborhood, they did not hold a gun to your head and say, sell this.
yeah.
Like, come on.
But I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean, to kind of back up to where we were, we do not need to be involved overseas. Like, so, okay, we know Iraq, false intel, WNDs, whatever. We just wanted to smoke Saddam. That could have been an SF operation.
Yeah.
Honestly, we didn't have to have 400,000 troops over there
Mm-mm.
and bleed. I mean, I don't know how many trillions of dollars it cost for the Iraq invasion. I think it was a couple of trillion.
And not to
Maybe
mention
three.
the money that we spent, and I worked for the company that was over there building the U.S. base. The House
Mhm.
16 is it was it like I forget how many thousands of troops it was. It was a
Base.
huge base, dude, humongous base.
And
And we were telling everybody we pulled all the U.S. troops out, but we were building this big base and we were keeping them there.
oh man, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Which base? Um,
Fucking sports shit going on in the
yeah,
base and tennis courts. It was humongous.
it starts with the B. Oh my god, because that's yeah. Okay, yeah. Honestly, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, dude. So this money and all these lives that were sacrificed, and then we decided to leave Iraq, like completely leave it, not set up a
It was
contingency force or any of this stuff.
um,
It was a power vacuum, and Obama knew that. He knew there was going to be a power vacuum because the Iraqi
you know the
police, the Iraqi
politics.
army, they ain't shit. We
You
were
know the
there.
politics.
Say again.
I said, you know the politics. Obama was calling them rebels, right? It wasn't until he was about out of office that they started calling them ISIS. It was the same people he was funding, the same people he was training.
Yeah, I know, man. So like seeing all this stuff and like it kind of eats at me because when I served, you know, I was going for like, the American freedom, like the Toby Keith, riding horses, American flag. We're gonna
Mm,
rain thunder, gonna spread some American freedom. And dude, like now looking back on it and just seeing everything that happened over there,
yeah.
I'm just like, man, I lost friends there, and I'm not
It
gonna
becomes
say,
a little more real, right? I
yeah,
mean,
no, and
let me ask you a question about that though. I mean, you got to come away from a situation like that, Jay. I mean, I have my own experience with like prison, which is in itself like a battle. I guess you get your own
yeah,
version of PTSD, but you in like live fire situations, which you were in,
mhm,
and then you learned like why we were there. Maybe we shouldn't have been there, and the
correct,
manipulation tactics that were used. You thought you were going over there to be gung ho, fighting for the country,
sure,
fighting for whatever, and then there's a moment at some point that occurs when you realize, oh shit, I was lied to.
yeah, and like
And
so,
what was that moment?
um, man, I don't know. It was almost it wasn't like a complete like red pill moment. I think when so I would talk. Let me see how I could word this. I used to talk to a lot of people, a lot of potential Taliban fighters and
Mhm.
sources without getting too far into detail on that. But I was discovering that it was different, and the reasons why we were there weren't exactly what we're being told. And that's about the best and most, I guess, overarching I could really describe to
Can you
say
give
that.
me can you give me like kind of a, I know you probably can't say too
Correct.
much, but like,
Because my name is
can
not
you
Hillary
tell me,
Clinton, and I
give me
respect
like,
non-disclosure agreements.
right, but can you give me the elevator pitch on what they told you were fighting for? Not specifics,
Uh,
but like,
oh, I mean, honestly, it was just like to get back for 9/11, and Saddam Hussein was a dictator, and we're there to promote give them like it was called coin, which is counterinsurgency, like trying to get the hearts and minds of the people. And
mhm,
honestly, they don't care about us; they just want it as gone because it's
yeah.
their land. And so
You ever had
it,
any run-ins with or know about Admiral Horowitz?
I know the name. I haven't spoke to him or
So
any of that.
Admiral
But
Horowitz, after Charles Strange, who was on stage with Donald Trump, you remember the SEAL Team 6 catastrophe with
with the
the
big
Chinook
going down.
helicopter?
Yep.
Well, what happened was the parents started saying, "We want to know what happened to our children." And I think I've talked to you about this before.
Mm,
And they gave them a book, but the book was blank. There was no ink in it. They were like, "This is no ink in it."
interesting.
So the military then and I have this all on video, right? I'll send you a little link to it. But then the military gave him a CD. So Charles
Mm,
Strange's wife,
okay.
Ed Strange, who was one of the SEAL Team 6 members, she takes the CD, opens it up on the computer. Well, they got it
Mm,
redacted, but she highlights the document and changes the font, brother, prints it out, and it's the whole story. She got all the redacted everything. And
huh.
now I got it too. I have the whole thing. I have
Yeah.
Nick No sent me everything, including the calls about Osama bin Laden in Iran instead of being in Afghanistan.
Mm,
And that whole rabbit hole there is a wild one.
mm,
But the thing is that Admiral Horowitz, when he addressed the
mhm,
parents of the SEAL Team 6 members, and they asked, "Why did you let this happen?" The the Taliban was there waiting for our children. Now we find out they were told to be there. You
mm.
told the location of your own troops. You
Yeah.
were the cause of this. And now they say, you know what Admiral Horowitz's answer was to that?
Mm.
To win the hearts and minds of the people. So
That
when you
dude,
said that, that's what reminded me.
yeah, I mean, it's the basis of what coin or counterinsurgency is. But
Mhm.
honestly, man, like, so I kind of dealt with that for a while, but then it was almost like a survivor's guilt, sort of. But I had to train myself and understand that the reasons I went over there were for good intentions, right?
So you had to
I wasn't.
compartmentalize your emotion from your orders.
Well, no, I wouldn't say I compartmentalized. I just understood that when I went over there, I was there for the correct intentions to actually help people and to potentially root out whoever these dictators or warlords or whatever you want to call them were over there. But now
Mhm.
that I look back on it, I'm pissed about it because more
Yeah.
people need to know about this and they need to understand that the stuff that we learned over the 20 years when we were over in the Middle East, we can't let that happen again. We can't
No.
get involved in another conflict overseas that is just going to drain more money from the American taxpayer, kill your sons and daughters for something stupid. And I was talking with someone earlier and I was expressing wars are not the answer because the only people that pay for the wars are the 99% of the people that are involved. The
Mhm.
1% that make these decisions will never have any kind of consequences behind it.
War pigs.
Oligarchs, yes,
Yeah, no, I
absolutely.
mean like the Ozzy song,
No,
a Black Sabbath. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
that's what.
exactly what he was saying. But you know, the plan was laid out from the beginning, right? So the
Mhm,
Saddam Hussein situation when we went over there and threw them out of Kuwait, we signed an agreement we wouldn't go into Baghdad. So we told all the Iraqis to pick up arms and go take their country back.
Right.
And so they start like thousands of Iraqis, tens of thousands of Iraqis are staging a coup. Well, Saddam Hussein protects himself from an onslaught of an army that was turned on him by the United States, putting a bug in their ear to do it. So then the Republican Guard goes out. Well, first of all, Norman Schwarzkopf tells Bush, hey, they're marching. They got eyes on them. They can't intervene. They were told to stand back, to not get involved. And then Schwarzkopf asked Bush 3 times, sir, can we, I forget the exact terminology, but can we engage or something like that? And he told him no 3 times. And he testified to that in Congress. So all these Iraqis got slaughtered. And now everyone heard the stories of all the mass graves and human atrocities caused by Saddam Hussein, which is what ended up getting him hanged, right?
Yeah.
We set him up to do that. We turned these people against him. And then when they did it and got slaughtered by the Republican Guard, we said, look what he did.
Yeah.
And then we went in.
It's all a long chess match and ruse. So Osama bin Laden, for example, Clinton knew of his exact location in the Bora Bora Mountains right after the Trade Center was hit the first time, chose not to go after it. Before the invasion of Afghanistan, there was a convoy that we knew about with Osama bin Laden. We didn't take it out. It could have been literally one JDAM, one bomb right on top of that convoy. It could have wiped them out. Nothing. It could have been ended with. But
I got a better one than that.
There's a reason why they choose not to do this, because they see that as an opportunity. They want to be able to invade and create all this money and get the military industrial complex ramped up, trillions of dollars pumped into there, getting, you know where I'm getting at with this.
Yeah, they did the same thing in Serbia when they bombed, when they shot the missiles at Wichicom's house. I forget his name. Oh, it's going to kill me. But they did the same thing with Serbia. They went in and stirred up a bunch of shit. And then when they we got a problem resolution, they set up the problem so they can be the resolution. But Osama bin Laden to this date has never been charged with anything to do with 9/11. Was never wanted for 9/11 by the FBI. It's not
ICC, nothing.
We were all told that. It was on the news every day, but it wasn't true. They created a boogeyman, put him in front of your face and said, go get him. And everybody's emotions were high, even mine. I was like, kill all the Iraqis. I do that. But at the end of the day, I had to stop being stubborn, listen to the facts that were in front of me and say, oh, I was completely wrong. 100% wrong. They were saying, look at these tubes. They're building nuclear weapons. They weren't building nuclear weapons. They were HVAC equipment.
Yeah. No.
It was nuts. But they saw Osama bin Laden in the hospital in 2001 before 9/11, and he was on dialysis in the hospital and was visited by our CIA. His CIA asset name was Tim Osman. And we know this. These records are, you go Google it right now. You'll see it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just a lot of information to know. With the backstories on everything, and it's so complex. So
it is
the whole thing going on with the Gaza Strip right now. I can have my opinion on it, right? But at the end of the day, we elected Donald Trump. And I do think he has the best interest of America at heart. So I'm just going to let this one play out, because I can disagree with President Trump. Everybody can.
There's some things I have disagreed with him on. We just talked about the Rubio situation.
Right.
I'm not a fan of Marco Rubio, but the Israeli thing and that sort of stuff. I think that the United States played it too close to the chest for too long when Biden was in there when this happened, and they took American hostages, and we should have been on them immediately. and it would have never escalated this far. But I don't believe, even though I know what Mossad has done, and I know about the Israeli instant messaging system and Converse Limited spying on Americans and bombing the USS Liberty at
Right.
LBJ's behest. I understand all that stuff, guys. I'm not telling you that Israel are a bunch of saints. But what I'm telling you is this: do not think that for a second that you would want people to look at Joe Biden and judge you based on him. So there are people within the Israeli government and inside the Israeli people that are probably, it's like any other people. They have a bad element and they have a good element. But at the end of the day, they were the equivalent per capita of 50,000 people slaughtered needlessly that were inside mainland Israel. Israel gave up the Gaza Strip in 2005, had a hustling, bustling economy, infrastructure, hospitals, highways. They had it all. And it took all of the USAID money that we were giving them. And then they reinstituted the payments when Biden came back in to the Palestinians that Trump cut off. And they used it as well as money from Iran, and Iran said they helped them plan it.
Well, yeah, they're a state sponsor of terror with Hezbollah, but
they literally said we sat in a room and planned it. They literally gave the details, bragged about it.
I know. I do want to present to you one question though. What are the top 3 intelligence agencies in the world?
FSB, Mossad, and CIA.
Okay. So one that you mentioned in there, I don't want to be on a canary list. Do you think they are dumb enough to have missed what happened on October 7th? It's either yes or no.
No, I don't think they missed it.
Okay.
I don't think they missed it.
I'm not going to.
And I know what you're getting at, but that's like saying, and I'm talking about the people, not the government. But that's like saying that I left the front door of my house unlocked, so it's okay for you to rob me. But
okay, but at the end of the day, the door should have been locked.
Maybe it would be a best practice, but that doesn't give the people the right to come in and steal all my shit, right? I mean,
okay, I see that. I see where you're going with that, but
here's the reason that happened. I believe is they don't have a Second Amendment. That's why our Second Amendment is so important. Only 2% of personal Israelis own weapons. Imagine if everybody in that little concert would have had just a pistol. As they were coming in, they would have been shooting them like, fish in a barrel. But no one there was able to defend themselves. And it's not that I don't believe that there is some kind of somebody on the inside that maybe didn't say something they should have, or they wanted. I don't know. But at the end of the day, all I know is in Palestine, they train their kids from the first day of elementary school that Jews are less than human. They have been thrown out of every country, Egypt, Jordan, you named Qatar. Even the Qataris threw them out because every time they go into a country, they try to assassinate the leaders. And Palestine has never been a country, ever. In the history of the whole earth, has there ever been a country or a people called Palestine? Not once.
Man,
it's a group of tribes of people. Nablus, Hamas. These are all they're not political factions. They're tribes. And a lot of the people there are Bedouins.
I mean, we could also make an argument about the state of Israel too, if we really wanted to go there, but I don't think we should. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, there is more than meets the eye, and
it's a lot. It's not a black and white issue. It's a gray issue.
I just want to point out one last thing on this. Think of the PSYOP propaganda that has hit us over the last few years. COVID, Ukraine, and then Israel. Just think of what the narrative was and how much money was pumped into those narratives and how strong the legacy media went after these narratives. I think the complete opposite of all 3. Just because of how COVID happened, and they were saying, oh, you got to get vaccinated and all this, and you're a traitor to your country if you don't get vaccinated. And then with Ukraine, Slava Ukraine, and then you have who's that little midget that cries? I can't remember. He blocked me on X. Kinzinger. It was just like everything was
Adam
great,
Kissinger
great.
blocked you. He's like
Oh,
the
yeah.
leader of Republicans for Kamala, right?
NAFO guy, yeah, or NAFO, whatever you want to call them. But I'm just saying, when you see there's a narrative built, you have to stop back and think. You just have to question. You don't have to agree or disagree. You just have to pay attention. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I get you. But like you, I think that it's a lot more gray than it is black and white. I mean, you can say that all the way back to World War II with Hitler.
Yes, you can.
In the Bolshevik revolution.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, the Jewish people in Germany were only made up 1% of the population. Germans had 100 judge seats. That's how their country worked. So they would vote out of those 100 people. Now, even though the Jews had 1% of the population, they held 66 seats in the court
Interesting.
because they were paying the Bolsheviks in the Red Army to protect them against the Germans, and the Germans were dying and starving in the streets, which is why if you listen to Hitler's speeches in English, which is why he was able to brainwash and manipulate his people so easily, because
Right.
he came off like their champion, and then he did what he did. And so what I'm saying is that one truth, and you go after it, and there's a whole nother truth, and then each one has its own little
Sub-truth
nuances
or whatever.
Yeah. It's much more. It's much too easy to go him good, him bad,
Right.
and that's the end of it. There's the truth, and the truth
So-
is something completely different.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of how I'm more of an analytical thinker. So I don't jump on bandwagons too easily. So you see it on X. There are a bunch of people that are anti-Semites, and they post, pro-Palestinian things. But then there's also the Zionism on the other side. I like to go right in the middle. That's usually where you find your truth.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
Tasha's absolutely correct. So that's why, dude. It's just, but it's so easy for people to get sucked into a vortex because it's almost people try to force you to choose a side. It is what these agendas
Good
are
man.
trying to do, and that's
Good
why
and bad.
people like me, you, and others that are very objective thinking, we are dangerous to them because we're the actual free thinkers. We're the ones that are actually, okay, well, hang on. So that's what you're saying. Okay, let's see the other side, and let's actually get data and actually maybe, I don't know, think outside of the box. What could also be happening?
And don't get me wrong. Listen, I risked my life to come out and say I was Christian. Literally, like I was when I was in the place I was in. I was running with a group of people that are the most murderous group of people in the whole United States prison system. And for me to go to them and say, guys, I got to follow God.
Right.
And I went from being a straight up like gangster, will stab you, will and not feel anything. Literally, that was who I was.
Right.
To Jesus grabbing a hold of me and me having to go, I'm in that situation with a gun barrel. Remember, people give you that hypothetical. What would you do if somebody held a gun to your head and said, denounce God or die? I was
Did you just say
literally in a, huh?
Do you people say that?
I don't know.
I
If
thought that's
said
what you had to
people.
ask me. Never mind.
That-
Sorry.
that-
Yes, I've heard that euphemism. Yes.
I don't know what I said, but I was literally in that situation where I knew that if I said this and took this action, that I could have lost my life. And yet I took it anyway. And so believe me, when I say I'm a protector of my faith, but that doesn't automatically mean that all Jews are good. Even
Okay,
Jesus didn't
fair.
think that.
Okay. Well.
Even Jesus didn't think that. Jesus said, you brood of vipers. He called out the religious authority. You got dead man's bones, fake Jews. Even in the book of Revelations, he calls them like they're Jews outward, but inward. So listen, you can't just give blanket statements. Like all people are
Yeah.
individuals. People are
For sure.
individuals.
Well, except for communists. I will never choose their side. So I will be a hardliner anti-commie. So there we go.
You really? I thought I was gonna see you at the next meeting.
Meeting.
Hey, listen, Steve. My heart goes out to you, bud. It
Yeah.
does.
Oh my
really
God, that was so stupid. They're like, oh my God, dude. Oh, I'm sure
I was
somebody's gonna
sitting-
screen record that, like, oh, Steve is some fucking Nazi or something. Like, oh my God. Dude.
Listen, I was sitting right there, right when
Yeah.
he did it. Right, I was sitting there. I had a friend on this side, and I think Congressman Hall was on my left.
Uh-huh.
And I was recording it on my phone, and I'm watching it, and he goes, and my heart goes out to you. You can literally hear it on my video. I got my own personal because I was sitting
I
right
know.
there.
Mhm.
He says on the video, goes, I said, "Oh shit, they're gonna tear his ass up."
It was so stupid too. And then it was so funny when everybody was posting like, Kamala doing like that and Obama and all these people. It's just like it's what they do.
Everybody
They
did.
throw out these stupid like rage bait posts, and I don't know. I don't really pay attention to them. I think they're
When I
retarded.
went over to the Liberty Ball, afterward, and they had the presidential podium there where he was going to speak. And
Yeah.
I went up on the presidential podium, and I said a little something real quick, and I did it. I said, and I got up there because I already knew, like, I was going to poke fun at it because I already knew what they were going to do with it.
Right.
So I had a whole room full of people. Alexandra was there, and I didn't even know she was there. Right.
Okay.
And so I did that, and they all laughed, dude. Everybody, because we knew intention counts for everything. That guy was not giving no, what do they call it? A Hig Heil?
Zig
Or
Heil.
whatever. Zig Heil. He was,
Yeah.
that's not what he was doing.
I only
And-
know that because I'm white. So
I-
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I gotta finish Mein Kampf. I haven't finished it yet. But
Oh my God. Oh
is-
man.
the rhetoric is ridiculous,
I
folks.
know,
If you
dude.
actually take a look at the standards on the left and the things they have pushed, and you actually list them out on a piece of paper, and I've done this with AI, and you just go into AI and say how many things in the left's agenda on X, not Chat GPT, and ask it how many things are similar to the Nazi Party, and just look at the reply. Just look what it tells you. From
Mhm.
censorship to the Antifa, which is the equivalent of our Antifa, is the equivalent of the brown shirts in Germany.
Correct. They're fascist, anti-fascist.
Correct. Yeah.
Like seriously, they are an oxymoron.
And if the left ever assumed the total power that it sought, the
Mhm.
first people that would be lined up and executed would be Antifa.
Correct.
And that's
They're
exactly
done
what
with them.
Hitler did. The
Yep.
useful idiots.
Yes. The ones that
And
Hillary
so-
tries to claim that we are.
Yeah, she wanted to put us all in camps, remember?
I know.
Re-education camps. You remember she said that?
Oh yeah, all MAGA needs to be
Re-educated.
re-educated. Yeah. Oh my God, that woman.
I want to
I'm not gonna-
know. I want to know. I
don't
know
think-
we've been on for a while, but I have one more thing I want to touch on before we get
Yeah,
off.
no, we're gonna have to get off.
What in the hell are they doing with all of these family centers that we call FEMA camps? There's thousands of beds. They're all over the United States. They got hundreds of thousands of coffin liners, which are coffins that fit up to 6 people each.
Okay.
And they're all over. They're everywhere.
Just kind of spread out. Yeah.
And Mayorkas was begging money for the last 4 years to build more as fast as he could. What are they planning to do with those? And and let me ask, like, do you think, just probably, and this is a hypothetical for educate, for was it entertainment purposes only questions?
Yeah. Right.
Right. Do you think that if Kamala would have won after 4 years of Biden, that those dissidents who are speaking the way you and I do may have actually found out what they were used for?
Possibly. But obviously, Kamala Harris, she's another puppet. She's an idiot. Let's be frank about it. It's the handlers, the deep state handlers that have been running this country the last 4 years with Biden, because if anybody says they thought he was a logical president or a president that had like a mental acuity, or any type of mental acuity, they're straight up lying to you because they have admitted it.
Yeah,
And
you
it
can
would be the
listen
same
to
thing with
it.
Kamala Harris. She would honestly, I could be a better president. I mean, I'm not as
If you
smart as the
listen
guy.
to Biden speak back in the Iraq war days, he gave a full-throated endorsement of how it's going to take a year to get all of our troops out. You have to take all the weapons or they're going to use them against your children. You got to get the people out before you take the military out. He said all these things.
Mm,
Like and you had to agree, like that's literally how you do it.
yeah.
But when he had his own time come in Afghanistan, the
Hmm.
blood of those 13 soldiers are 100% on his hands.
Absolutely. I 100%
100%
agree with that.
on his hands. So, guys, I'm good. We
Yeah.
hour and a half in, man, and
Yeah. I'm mentally exhausted.
that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a good one.
that was some good back and forth. The clips on this are going to be wild. I can
Yeah,
already tell.
I need to drop the I need to put into Opus clips, but should be good, man. Should have some good segments.
Yep.
Hopefully, I don't get put on a canary list or get targeted by any kind of 3-letter organization.
Steve is not suicidal.
Yeah, I am in full
Neither am
health.
I. Neither am I, by the way. Even though my grandkid tried to kill me yesterday by pulling the damn table chair out from underneath me as
Oh
I
my gosh.
sat down, he thought it would be funny because, he's 8 years old. So, they do that in school because they're this big. And
Right.
my old ass went to go sit down and oh, dude. I laid on the kitchen floor for like 10 minutes. Don't touch
Oh my
me.
gosh.
He was laughing his little ass off,
Oh, I
though. Like
bet.
it was funny, dude.
But
But yeah,
yeah,
I
I think
love
it's
you,
about
little
time to
guy.
wrap it up, Eddie.
All right.
I'm getting tired
You
and gotta wake
close
up.
us out, brother.
Say again.
Close us out.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys, everybody, for tuning in. If you can, please like and share our show here on X. We're also on Rumble, rumble.com/the Patriots Prayer or the Patriots Pray.
The Patriots
Prayer.
prayer.
Check out our sponsor. We showed the, it's all in, we'll
Shop
post it
with
in
US. Shopwithamerica.us.
the new one, so I don't really know it. But
Yeah,
guys, it was great. If you can, like, subscribe to our channels, and please tune in next Monday at 8 p.m. And hopefully Maurice will get over his little migraine, and we can have a normal show again. Have a great
And
night, guys. Hey,
and
Eddie, you got
one more-
anything you want to add?
Yeah, just we are finishing up the Babylon betrayal right now, where we are going to, guys, we're getting ready to expose the mayor of Babylon Village, New York. And
Nice.
this is absolutely killer. If you haven't already, go to my YouTube. You can go to the Patriots Prayer on YouTube. Look at the video for the trailer. This is the very first TV show style. Like, so if you've ever watched Dateline, it's filmed exactly like that. And Dale's doing the voiceover. Have you seen it yet?
No, I have not. I know you shared the link with me.
2 seconds before we hit close, dude. 2 seconds.
Again?
This is nothing like we've ever done. And I want to just show it to you. Takes a minute and we'll be out of here. I know we stayed on a while longer than we wanted to.
Yeah.
But
And we got started later too.
let's see here. All right. Video. You're gonna like this because, like I said, I never did anything like this before. And when I heard the idea, Maurice and I kind of got together and he came up with the idea with me, and I said, I can do that. But here's what came of it.
All right, nice.
All right, so that's all the intro of the people. I'm gonna get to the preview.
Okay.
Guys, check this out. This is gonna be awesome.
At first glance, this looks like your typical, quiet American town. Quaint streets, charming homes, a picturesque waterfront, a place where families grow, businesses thrive, and neighbors, well, they look out for one another. But beneath the surface, behind the neatly painted storefronts and well-manicured lawns, lies something far more sinister. A deep underbelly of corruption, where power isn't earned, it's seized. Where justice isn't blind, it's bought. And where those who dare to stand against the system are met with retaliation, deception, and destruction. Here, backroom deals aren't just rumors. They're the foundation on which this town operates. Officials protect criminals, and criminals protect officials. Those in charge play by their own rules, rewriting laws to serve their own interests, while silencing anyone who dares to challenge them. For decades, the people of Babylon have been forced to look the other way. But the truth is no longer hidden. The corruption that has festered behind closed doors is now being dragged into the light. And once it's exposed, there's no going back.
How long is it going to be?
So I'm guessing it'll be like, I'm going to keep it around the 45-minute range.
Okay.
And because the story is wild. It's like there are mob members involved. There are payoffs. And we have all the court documents. The story's crazy.
Dude, I love that.
I was like, I don't want to do an interview with you first, Austin. His name's Austin Kitt. His story blew up like 80 million hits on TikTok about this. And
really?
So I was like, if we just do a podcast, it's here and done. I said, let's go bigger. Let's make a TV show. I'm going to have Dale host it. You heard his voice. He's great with the voiceover.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have him do the whole Dateline thing. And we have interviews from Austin telling the story and the other people in the town that spoke out on his behalf. And listen, guys, I've reached out to the people he's talking about. I'm not just doing a hit piece. I reached out to the mayor's office. I reached out to the inspector. I reached out to the other people that are named.
Like confirmed all of this, yeah.
And they're like, no comment.
Interesting.
So we're going to run with it. And I'm telling you, you're going to love this. This is a first of its kind, and it's the first of many. Because you saw that made you want to watch it. I guarantee you.
I was like, I like those juicy type stories, you know?
Yeah, it's going to be like that true crime meets Dateline. So, guys, as usual, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent. Stand your ground. We'll see you next time. Have a great one.
Good night, y'all.
Dusty plains and broken dreams, cowboys and Indians on the same team. We got no masters, only our creed to break the chains and set us free. Riders on the prairie, wild and free, bows and arrows, cold 45's decree. No more tyranny, no more lies. Under open skies we rise. Fight, fight, fight till we reclaim the night. Cowboys and Indians in the blazing light. Fight, fight, fight till the dawn is near. We'll never live in fear. On the blood moon, we all unite. Horses thunder in the night. No longer slaves to the empire's might. Strength in numbers, strength in right. We'll never rise. When the blood moon we unite. Horses thunder in the night.